Evening, everyone. It's about 5:40, and this is your closing comment. It's video number 395, and I again remind you, if you like the work, hit that subscribe button. So today was kind of interesting in that the NASDAQ was down pre-market. The S&P was about unchanged, and the Dow was up about 140. And the way that they finished was pretty much exactly the opposite. The Dow closed down 60.02 or 0.21%, but the NASDAQ has a new closing high up 86.75 or 0.75%. The S&P closed up 1234 or 0.36%, and the Russell was barely changed, up $2.74, 0.17, and the Dow Jones Transports were down 2160 or 0.19. So we had a bit of a reversal during the day. We also had a bunch of economic news, and that included consumer confidence, which came out at 84.8, and that was down from July's 91.7, as well as the briefing.com consensus of 93. This is actually the lowest number since May of 2014. On the other side of the coin, we had new home sales up 13.9 versus an expected 1.4. And we also had the price component up an astounding 7.2%. So that's pretty substantial, and it clearly showed Toll Brothers, which reported after the close and beat both top and bottom line, had closed the day at 45.06, up 37 cents. After their numbers came out, the stock traded as high as 48.5, and the last trade in extended hours is 48.20, which is up 214 or about 3%, and that's 3 times the low in March. So that's a pretty impressive run. We also had Best Buy, which I reported this morning, beat top and bottom, gave poor guidance. It traded all the way down to 108.60, but managed to regain about half of its loss and closed at 112.64, down only 473 or 4%. And also after the close, Salesforce, an incoming new Dow Jones Industrial, also beat both top and bottom, and it was up all day on the inclusion in the Dow news and probably some speculation about earnings. It closed 216.05, which was up 3.6% or $7.50. And then after their blockbuster earnings, it traded as high as 244.50. Last trade there is 243.50, which is up about 27 and an additional 12.5%. So that is really a home run day there. We had Apple, which is the split as of yesterday, paid at the end of the month on the 31st. It was down pretty hard during the day, but it finished just a hair under 500 at 499.30, down 413 or 0.82%. As I mentioned this morning, that stock is moving from the number 1 weighting in the Dow to the number 17 because the Dow is trade weighted. So to give you an example, CRM coming in today up 27 would probably have added 125 Dow points onto today's gain. And Alibaba, which we have a really nice bull spread on long the 265, short the 270s, which are now dramatically in the money. We paid $1.45 for it, and that spread should be worth about $5 as long as the stock stays over 270 through the September expiration. But I think that we're far enough into the money that we'll probably be able to get out of that earlier than that and use the money for something else. Okay, the chart on the screen is the gold, and it shows a close here of 1934.90, and I've explained this before. That's the open outcry close. The actual close at the end of the day for the afternoon electronic session is 1923.10, and that would be about $11.50 below that, or down 16.10. It's getting closer and closer to the trend line. Um, Again, I would love the opportunity to buy this at 19 or 1902 in this area. I think the number that I was using today for the trend line was 1912. So, anywhere in this area, I think we move up. The volume has been coming down on a day by day basis as we've been moving through. And while it doesn't have anything to do with the dollar on a day by day basis, the dollar today tried to rally and actually finished pretty close to the low, down 27 cents, which would be bullish for this. Another commodity that acted really well today, vis-a-vis what the chart actually looks like, is the oil. Some of the distillates, specifically gasoline, uh, seems to be moving higher. And when the prices of the products go up, it generally drags the main product higher. And that's exactly what we have. We've had this consolidation now for the better part of 6 months after the horrendous move. If you recall, in here, this contract had a low of $6.50 a barrel. It's today 43.35, but it actually went negative almost $40 at delivery of that contract at this point. As you can see, the high here, recovery high, is 43.52. Today's high is 43.57, and the close is 43.35. So it looks like it could add on a bit here. I've been talking about this being between $45 and $48 for quite a while. Hasn't cost us anything to see it go sideways, but it is higher. So I'm kind of bullish there. We had, as I said, the dollar, which I think looks pretty interesting here. Looks like it's going to move to the upside. Actually reversed today, but it does not break the pattern. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. The 5 and 20-day moving averages look like they're going to cross to the upside, as you can see here. We tried to make a low. I thought we would test, maybe a counter trend move to 95 or 96. We got up to this 94 area a couple of times and then came in and made a new low at 92.11, but reversed up the next day and has not looked back. It's tested a couple of times into that same area, 92.50, and while it did close down on the day today 27 cents, as you can see, it's still above that test. And let me open this up a little so you can see a little bit better. You can see this 5-day moving average has clearly turned up. It's approaching the 20-day. It wouldn't really take much to move it higher, and certainly close over this area, 93.60, would definitely signal at least a test of 94 and probably 95 and possibly higher. So that's where we are. I also want to remind everyone that attached to tonight's daily note, I started doing my radio show again today. We had Jan 1 on, the head science officer. It's a great story, and the link will be on the front page of the Daily Note. Have a good evening, and I'll be back first thing in the morning. Don't forget to subscribe.